our fine and performing arts departments, which included the theater program, the choral music program, and the instrumental music program, collaborated to build a show to celebrate Alabama's bicentennial called Stars Fell on Alabama, music inspired by a southern state.
So we concentrated on people who were born in Alabama, artists that were from this state, and did a little exploration into the Muscle Shoals sound and the stuff that was recorded there. So throughout the year we have been working on creating the music, you know, doing our own arrangements to the music, putting a Wallace State twist on things. We didn't do everything just by the book. We changed up the way we did some of the music, and utilized our kids in ways to, they wrote their own monologues and talked about what it was like, it was like to be raised in Alabama and what Alabama means to them. So we spent the whole year working on it, and then the culmination of that was the Europe performance trip. And we went on tour in France and Germany. Started in Germany in our sister city of Frankweiler and did a fun performance there. And then we performed in Paris, performed in Strasbourg, France, and then we did a memorial recital in Normandy right before the 75th anniversary of that. So it was all very meaningful, very exciting. Had a great time doing it.
And we had an amazing time. Our students, while they did their big show here on campus before we left, I really feel like our very best performances were when we were on tour and they were able to see sort of how all the pieces fit together. My favorite part of the trip was our final performance at the American Cathedral in Paris. It was just one of those moments where everything came together perfectly, and our audience just loved the show. They leapt to their feet at the end, and they were all asking if the students were professionals, and I thought, not yet, but they're well on their way. And it was just super exciting to see how our students from our community college in Alabama were able to do this big thing and do it as well as they did. They were so classy and so professional over there, and I was just very, very proud of them for the level that they were able to accomplish.
So when we debuted the show here at Wallace State, we had a fantastic crowd reaction, and I was a little bit worried about that because I thought, okay, that's as good as it's going to get. I mean, this is the reaction from people who are from here. This is their home, and it is going to be very meaningful here. We're going to take it to Europe, and we're going to do our best, and hopefully they'll enjoy it somewhat. So the first night of performance was in Frankweiler, and that is our sister city, and it was a packed room. And from the moment they started singing, the crowd was with them. It was magical, and I have very rarely seen something like this, but they were just enamored the entire time.
Well, every show had a standing ovation. They loved it so much. You just looked out in the audience, and they all had ginormous smiles and were clapping, and just for it being American music and a little college in Huntsville, Alabama, you wouldn't expect them to love it so much as they did.
My favorite performance was Frankweiler because that was our sister city, so it was a really big deal. And also, I would probably say that's where we had the most active audience because they were really excited to be a part and see us perform and be a part of what we had to offer.
And the reactions in the audience were just amazing. They were up and dancing to the songs, and they were cheering, and it was incredible to interact with the audience like that.
They welcomed us like we were family, and they responded so well to us that it felt like we were performing for family. There was no difference there, even though there was the language and cultural difference. They smiled, they clapped, they enjoyed it, and just ate it all up. It was awesome. When we did Sweet Home Alabama at the very end, everyone knows that song, so they'd all be singing along with it.
Yeah, our Wilson Pickett medley we had, they really enjoyed that. Cheeseburger in Paradise. Almost everyone had a great reaction.
They loved Old Time Rock and Roll. That was a fan favorite and my dad's personal favorite because he is a huge fan of Bob Seger. And they loved the Wilson Pickett medley because Samuel, he got up and he really just worked the crowd. He was awesome, got the whole crowd to stand up, and they were all standing up and clapping and dancing. And I think that's what really got everybody like on their feet and really paying attention to the performance.
And at every single show, our goal was to get the majority of the crowd up, and we got that every single time. And it was just so much fun to see them smiling.
And by the time it was over, there was a standing ovation. There was a call for encore. We had to go back and sing again. One of the tour managers came to me and said, I wish every American choir and performance ensemble would understand that this is what we want to hear. This is authentic American music.
So many of the groups, when they go over, they want to do music from there. You know, they come over there and they do Bach or Beethoven, and you know, and they're experts on that. They don't need us to come over there and show them how to do that. You know, they want to see things that you know, we enjoy, the type of music that we listen to, and I think that was one of the big things. And I could see that the kids were having a good time, and they really enjoyed the show, the energy.
Spectacular. Of course, we ended our trip with our trip to Normandy and did a memorial recital at the American Cemetery.
Going to see that part of the history in World War II and Operation Overlord, and actually getting to perform there at the American Cemetery was really a lot harder than what I thought, because when I stood there looking across those in excess of 9,300 graves and realized that all of those young men were from the age of 17 to 24, which was what was on the buses with us. That was all the students that we'd carried with us. So it was really hard when you started thinking about what if they had been there on that beach trying to come on that day. So I think that was a hard part, but it was neat to see that part of history.
I almost like started crying just because there's so much history there. And before we actually went there, we went to the beaches of Normandy, and like I just remember standing there and I had no words. It was just like this feeling of gratitude and sorrow just like washed over me, because those people gave their lives for that, you know?
Amazing. Just learning about what happened there and just knowing what these soldiers did for us and getting to see their graves was just such a big opportunity that all of us got to do, especially so close to the anniversary. And it was just really amazing to be able to sing right there where many of our soldiers had died for us.
The mood at that place was just so sacred. The kids were really pensive, and some were moved to tears, and it was really beautiful. But you could see that they really understood the impact of what had been done for them. We were able to sing a spiritual and the Star Spangled Banner. They played taps, and it was just a really beautiful and meaningful moment. And I know one kid said, I just hope that somehow they know what they did mattered, that we appreciate it. And that's when I thought, okay, that was worth it, you know, that one moment. So
I think that experience is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for some of them. But I think for others, they discovered that the world really isn't that big. It's you can go over there and work and have a career. So I think now it will make even international work, be it performing or something else, a bit more accessible. And I think that the other aspect is that it has lit a fuse under everyone who went. We're excited about performing. We're excited about our season going into this year. And it was just a good energizer for everyone. So I think it will encourage a lot more of them to pursue a professional performing career as well.
I think that the trip was a very positive experience for the students, because they got to see things that they wouldn't see here in the States. You know, when we think about looking at an old building here in the United States, we might have one that's maybe 100 years old, 150 years old. Where over there, you know, an old building's 1,500 years old. So it's for them to see that how the culture there really hangs on to tradition.
I am so thankful that I got to do this trip with my best friends here and got to perform in these amazing cities. And this will always share such a special place in my heart, to be able to tell my family and like my future kids, like I got to perform in Paris.
Definitely getting to play in a different country and in different cities with different people that have a different culture definitely will impact my life forever, just because getting that experience is life-changing. I mean, to get to play in another country with a great group of people, you never take that for granted.
So for me to be able to go to a place like Europe and Germany and France, it was very life-changing because I was like, well, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And for me, it was eye-opening because it just showed me like the impact that we had on the people that we performed for.
I believe that after this trip, it has really changed me as a person in the way that I can see other cultures, and also my relationships with the people that were all on the trip. They have all grown so strong, and I will cherish those friends forever.
Just interacting daily and then seeing how music changed it and made it so similar was probably the biggest impact on me. That when the music started, it was like there was no difference between us. Everyone can all enjoy the music, enjoy the monologues, everything together. It's that connection that we have between every culture.
So this coming fall, 2019, we're going to revive pieces of the show. And if you missed it, or if you want to see it again, you can catch it at Oktoberfest on October the 5th in Coleman, as well as Coleman's Bicentennial celebration on December the 14th.